storm show. Ay, it's a storm show.
I'm interested in knowing what made you want to get into YouTube.
So, look, this is going to be really surprising, but before I got on YouTube, I actually had to pre-record videos and not upload them because I was so shy that I couldn't even do, like, it was hard for me to do them. And my sister was like, well, you can just record the videos, don't upload them until you get comfortable. So I actually did that quite a bit before I even uploaded something to YouTube. But what made me want to do YouTube was actually white supremacy stuff. And that's why that's how I came in. I remember seeing the Michael Brown case. And it's so interesting and ironic that, later on YouTube, I would end up debating Jesse Lee Peterson twice, but it was his commentary on Hannity that made me want to do commentary.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't like his commentary on there. And I was like, this man is insane. That added to the fact that there wasn't a lot of fight videos from Black women. And I wasn't familiar with YouTube. I mean, there was a couple people that I watched, but I didn't know the YouTube culture. So I said I wanted to bring a different image of Black women, basically showing Black women doing something other than just fighting, or there was a lot of fight videos at the time.
There was. Back in the day on YouTube, that was, I remember all that stuff, and it was just like, you could just get lost for hours watching that kind of content.
Yeah, it was sickening to me. There was one video in particular that I did, and it was in New York. There were some high school students. They jumped a girl in a bath in a McDonald's or something like that. And I was like, this is horrible. And the fact that people would stand around and cheer and, the whole Sharkeisha fight, it was crazy. It was crazy. So basically I wanted to show that Black women can be intellectual. We're not fighting in videos all the time.
And I appreciate that, because what people don't realize is, in the United States, there are a lot of white people who don't live around Black people. And so if that's all they see of us, they're going to think that's all that we are. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think that with Black people, we fall too easily into negative stereotypes. And I'll tell you a quick story. This predates me being on YouTube, but I spent a lot of time living in Washington. We moved from California to Washington.
Okay.
And Washington is a different culture. It's not really diverse. When I was 19, I just upped and left Washington and I moved to Detroit. Obviously, two completely different worlds.
Right, you kind of did a flip there, yeah.
Yes. And what I noticed there was the willingness to fall into stereotypes. Like, I would get into arguments with other Black women at work or wherever, where they would be like, oh, you think you're white, this, that, and the third. And I just realized how Black people think negative stereotypes is being Black.
Yes.
And that bothers me.
We tend to attribute negative things to being Black. And look, shout out to Camo Beauty for dropping 100 on me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks to people who contribute. They don't understand how much
we need that stuff.
And how much YouTube censors Black content creators. They won't push you into the algorithm. I'm pretty sure even when it comes to the ad revenue pay, they find a way to pay you less. So we need support.
We do. We really do. And I'm going to say this too. When I was a kid and I went through similar things that you just described, I didn't understand at the time that for a lot of those kids, that came from a place of hurt, or they genuinely had never met a Black person that spoke like you, or whatever. They just didn't. We were kids. So I think now as an adult, I can say, oh, okay, that person was coming at me from a place of hurt, not necessarily like actually trying to attack me. So I just... I like that you talked about that.
It's a storm show. Ay, it's a storm show.